Welcome to the PLZ Soccer Show. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson are with me, Peter Martin, and what a show we've got for you tonight. Why? Because there's so much to talk about. It's as simple as that. It could be a title-winning weekend for Celtic, but the arguments rage on, the controversy, the comments about Rangers and that debacle from last weekend when they lost 4-0 to Celtic. Of course, 2 players suspended, Lee Wallace and Kenny Miller. And off the back of that, we were waiting with bated breath today to hear from Graham Murty. There wasn't a catch chance in hell that he was going to actually talk about this suspension, because it's now at the point where it's still to go to a meeting between club and players.
Yeah, I mean, we need to wait till the investigation's finished. And I know Graham Murty said in his press conference today that the players were fully behind him or in the dressing room. Look, he's going to say that. I'll just reserve judgment and watch the game on Sunday and see how Rangers do. But listen, I've got to be honest with you, the full place at this moment in time is just in turmoil. One thing after another that's coming out of the club. Obviously, Alistair Johnson mentioning today as well that they'd be happy with third. I find that strange. We're talking about Rangers here, who should be, if they're not challenging Celtic and winning titles, they should be certainly finishing second. That should be the demands put on, not just the coaching staff, but the playing staff. So it's been a crazy week, and honest with you, it's been a sad week as well. It's been a sad watch for myself, and I'm sure it's been a sad watch for many Rangers fans out there.
Yeah, I don't think we can get away from the fact, as Barry mentioned there, Alistair Johnson's comments, I can understand where he's coming from. He's trying to put a sense of perspective on it. Some people say, well, wait a minute, you're actually trying to put a spin on it that nobody's buying into, Ruffy, because quite simply, lost heavily to Celtic, out of the Scottish Cup, no chance of silverware this season, struggling now in a battle to finish second, and every time we get to week in, week out, Graham Murty's saying we need to respond. Well, they don't, and all of a sudden we have 2 experienced players who are suddenly never going to kick a ball for Rangers again.
No, I think Alistair Johnson should have come out with a statement at the beginning of the season, and it made it a lot easier for everybody else. The expectations that were put on the manager and the players, right away it was going for title. What was it, 55, 54?
55.
55, that puts so much pressure on the players, and obviously the supporters buy into that. They want to see another title, they want to see the team stopping Celtic, and that, for me at the end, you could see that was beginning to be very heavy on some of the players in that team, because they weren't performing. So no, I can see, I know where Barry's coming from. When you're Rangers or Celtic, you want to be either first or second and winning cups, but I don't think that was the right statement to come out with.
Over and above that, he's still got to try and rally the troops and keep them on side for the game against Hearts on Sunday. I just wonder, I said it yesterday, I still think it's pertinent today, and it'll probably rumble on this way, but it's the 3 sackings. Is it sack the board? Is it sack the manager? Is it sack the players? I mean, that's the whole news from Rangers over the course of this week.
Yeah, well, certainly the fans at this moment in time are not happy. I've been hearing that there might be demonstrations. I hope there's not. I hope the fans, knowing that a lot of the fans, and obviously played there for a number of years, I know the fans continue to support the club through thick and thin, and obviously it's a bad time just now after a heavy defeat last Sunday. But it looks to me that the manager's not going to be there. He'll probably go back to being under 20 manager.
I don't think there's a catch chance in hell he'll go back to under 20.
Well, he'll need to leave the club then. Yeah. As simple as that.
You can't come in with a new manager and then all of a sudden he's sitting at the under 20s again. You would be actually thinking to yourself, well, he's just sitting there again waiting to take up the reins if I make a back end of this, surely.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I really don't know. Listen, I feel a bit for Graham Murty because he's been put in a position with the Rangers board. It's been a difficult time for him. He went through, I thought he took a step forward with the signings that he made, and they went on that 6-game unbeaten run leading up to the Celtic performance that Celtic won 3-2. It was getting better, but again, instead of taking another step forward, took 4 or 5 back. But I feel for him sometimes, I do, because it's a horrible situation. He's been put in front of a lot. I mean, the demands and whatever it go on at the club and the expectations, it weighs heavy on people, and it looks as if it's affecting the manager, and also to me, it looks as if it's affected a lot of the players
Yeah, I've got to say to you, he has admitted today that he has a certain amount of sympathy for Andy Halliday and what he subjected him to. I thought he threw him under a bus with that move, taking him off 4 minutes before the end of the first half.
Yeah, Peter, I can understand if he's not happy. Look, 20 minutes, 25 minutes into the game, if you want to make a change, then there's a bit of time for it to happen. I thought he should have just left it at half time. I know he's mentioned that, and he's known he's made a mistake. Just leave it to half time and then take Andy off and make your substitution at half time. I thought it was a strange one, and it was harsh on Andy. And it could have stopped all the nonsense that went on for that couple of minutes with Andy having a go at the supporters, or the supporters having a go at Andy. That could have been avoided.
Yeah, absolutely. Are they going to beat Hearts on Sunday?
They need to beat Hearts, but I don't know how many times I've sat here and says they need to win the game. Listen, if they've got any ambitions to get in second place, they need to win the game. I still think they will get second place. I do. So I think they'll beat Hearts. I don't care about the performance. They just need to get 3 points.
Yeah, I know last weekend, obviously, it was a big game. It was Celtic against Rangers, and you left the country and went to Amsterdam. Do you feel at this moment that Moscow's the best place to go this weekend for yourself and your family when Rangers are playing Hearts?
Under my bed. That's where I'll go.
Ruffy, it's been a tough week for him. I feel for him. I'll tell you one thing: he hasn't pulled his punches on it. He's had more than a few comments to make on the situation with the players and everything, and fair play to you for it, because there are others that kind of toe the party line. You want to have opinion. You want somebody to actually just tell you like it is, and hopefully you're enjoying that on the soccer show. So Rangers to beat Hearts.
Not for me, I think Hearts have got a really good home record going just now. I think it'll be really tight, and I'm sitting on the fence, a draw.
Okay, a draw there. I don't even think you might say you're sitting on the fence. I think a draw still, brings the wrath of the Rangers fans onto the players again. A draw, Barry, suddenly says to Aberdeen and Hibs, and they'll know by Sunday whether Hibs have managed to pull off a win against Celtic.
Peter, I've said to many people, they ask me what's it like to beat Rangers. Listen, you've got to win. A draw, they're not happy with. A defeat's just an absolute nightmare. So Rangers have got to win the game. If they take a point, nobody at Rangers should be happy with that, even if it stops like a rut. You've got to go and win a game of football. A point's not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. That gives you a little bit of the mindset, insight into his way of thinking. Okay, so Rangers Hearts got to win that match. Of course, at the weekend, by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, Celtic could have the title in the bag. That could be 7 in a row. It could be just the next stage on to back-to-back trebles. The double treble is what they're calling it at the moment. Callum McGregor, speaking yesterday, said it would be a tremendous achievement if they could, in fact, win the title and then defeat Motherwell in the Scottish Cup final. But interestingly today, and this is where there's a good talking point, Arsene Wenger said he's going to leave Arsenal in the summer, and now the race is on to find the new Arsenal manager. Brendan Rodgers is one of the early red-hot favourites to get the job, and Celtic's majority shareholder, Dermot Desmond, has come out and said, listen, let's be realistic about it. If Arsenal come calling, we're not going to stand in his way, because I don't think Celtic have got the finances to keep Brendan Rodgers there, and Arsenal are a huge club.
They are a huge club. Obviously, it's speculation if he is a candidate. Obviously, people are thinking about how well he did at Liverpool, if that justifies, getting the Arsenal job. I personally think there'll be better managers out there, higher profile managers out there, not in a job at this precise moment, and I don't think Brendan Rodgers will get anywhere near that job.
Yeah. What, because he's not good enough?
No, I think there's other people better than him out there.
Do you know them at the moment, or are you just guessing that?
I'd be guessing the people like Enrique who are out there, the German manager, Jurgen, what's his name? Jochen Loh.
Yeah.
People like that, people who have done things in the game more than Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, okay. You could tell he was going through his full bank of German names that he knew there, but he eventually got to Joachim Low. Okay, listen, you might be right, Ruffy. I think, as ever, you always get the early favourites, and he's never been far away from the speculation of he's going back down south. He will eventually. Yeah,
I agree with Ruffy. I don't think he'll be in the running. He'll maybe, when the board sit down, they might mention him, but I don't think he'll get the job. And I think he's he's really happy at Celtic.
Yeah.
I think he's got a board to back him and trust him. He's got the run of the full club. So it looks to me if he's happy up in Scotland, and I think he'll be with Celtic for another couple of years.
Yeah, I'm told he's at least on a short list of 4 at the moment as the early runners and riders, which means diddly squat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised he's getting mentioned with the big jobs for obviously what he done last season, getting the treble, and obviously he's going for another treble this season. So the work he's done is going to get noticed, certainly down south, because he's had a good career down south. He's managed some really good clubs, and I'm sure at some stage I think he would want to go down to what is probably the best league in the world. If not, he might want to try abroad. But I think the next couple of years will be at Celtic.
Okay, give us your view on that at PLZ Soccer on Twitter, facebook.com/PLZ Soccer. And of course, you can post messages to us if you want to download the app. You get all the latest news. You can do that, and quite simply, you can then press the video reporter and record your message as well. If your face and your point features on the soccer show over the next couple of weeks, we will send you out a little bit of memorabilia, possibly something signed by Barry. You never know your luck, even one signed by Ruffy. There are new bits of merchandise coming to the show. Just thought I'd tell you that, by the way, all coming up, and we'll get the guys to sign them and send them out to you. So all you have to do is download the app in Google Play or in the App Store. So from Celtic and Brendan Rodgers as far as off the park and that link with Arsenal, what about Celtic at Easter Road against Hibs? Do they win the title in the capital?
No, I don't think they will. I think Lenny's got something to say about that. He's been really impressed by the way his players have played against Celtic this year. Haven't beaten them, obviously. But again, I think this will be another exciting game. But I think Hibs are really going for that second place, and I think they'll take a point out of that game.
Yep. Okay, Brendan Rodgers will be keen, as many players, I've spoken to a number of them, have said, and you'll be able to give me the insight into this. You're on the verge of winning the title, but you could make it even sweeter winning it. So let's just say at Ibrox, Rangers against Celtic, Rangers could win the title, or the week before you've got a chance to just get over the line. What do you do?
No, I know what will be going on in the there'll obviously be in a hotel tonight, and the guys will be speaking about it. They'll want to go out there and win that trophy as quickly as possible. They'll not worry about there's an Old Firm game next week. They win the game against Hibs, they're league champions again. So I've got no doubt that Celtic will have that mindset. Listen, there's no doubt that Hibs and Lenny's done an unbelievable job there. They're a very good team. I really enjoy watching them, but there'll be one thing in the Celtic players' minds, and that is to go out and do a job and get to 3 points and get the league title back to Celtic Park. I was going to say where it belongs, I should.
Yeah, at that point, you would have had the biggest reaction ever, from both camps, let me tell you.
Look, I know what it's like. They'll be going through in the bus to Edinburgh tonight or wherever they're staying, and that'll be the talk. Listen, guys, and guys like Scott Brown, the more experienced boys, listen, let's focus tonight. Tomorrow we'll go up, we'll go our walk, and we'll go to Easter Road and do our job.
Yeah.
If they do win it at Hibs, there's always the highlight of the Rangers game obviously coming up. There'll be the Guard of Honour, before the game and everything. So these are things that you look forward to.
We have. I told you it was coming. We have mentioned it on previous shows. I said by the way, it's coming next week in the papers. Is there going to be a Guard of Honour from the Rangers players to the Celtic players?
Listen, Celtic will win on Saturday. Do you know what? In fact, I'll go to the game next week and I'll clap Celtic honour for the stands.
Well,
no chance of that.
I was just about to say, I was just about to say, well, the other thing, there was one thing I was going to say to you. If you're going next week, could you please get the same makeup artist as the one that's put mine on at the moment, because I feel as if I've just gone a wee bit too brown, even though it was a sunny day out there. The foundation has just been a wee bit too much. Listen, it's Hibs against Celtic. They could win the title. Do you fear... do you think it's now we're heading towards double treble?
Yeah, well, they're going to win the league. There's no doubt about that. I do think Motherwell will give them a difficult game. Albeit this weekend, I think Ross County will beat Motherwell. But looking at Motherwell, I think it's a total different ball game. They'll come up against Celtic. They'll come up against a strong physical team, and they'll come up a team who's high in confidence as well. They're getting used to Hampden. That's. a right few games have won there. So I think it'll be a difficult one, but I do think they will win the treble. But it'll not be easy in the Scottish Cup final for them.
No, okay. Listen, you guys have been swinging with the wind. You're like one of those cockerels that's northeast, south or west. I just got to get your thoughts now in second, third and fourth, because that's the battle. If it's anything less than a victory, then suddenly people start to sense that Rangers have just collapsed, so they'll be looking at Rangers against Hearts. Hibs have got to try and do a number on Celtic. But what about Aberdeen? I wonder this weekend if we could be in a situation where Kilmarnock beat Aberdeen, Hibs beat Celtic and Hearts beat Rangers. I mean, for a long time, I can't think of a time when that's happened over one weekend. But I'll tell you right now, there's every chance with Aberdeen at Kilmarnock.
I think Kilmarnock will beat Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen will not be looking forward to get down to Rugby Park. The confidence that is running through that Kilmarnock team now is unbelievable. And what the job Steve Clarke's done. So I think Kilmarnock will beat Aberdeen. I think it will be a close game. They're always close games, but I do think they'll take the 3 points, and you can't rule them out. Getting in amongst Hibernian and Aberdeen and Rangers, if they continue the sort of form they're on, that they have been on in the last 4 or 5 months, they've got every chance of breaking into the top 4.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's just I can see where Barry's coming from. I don't see them making the top 4 this time, Ruffy. I think it's just, if anything, they'll if anything, wow, that's so unusual, isn't it? Can you believe that's where are we going, Russia? That's fantastic. What are the odds on a fire alarm? So on that note, we'll be back with you. Would you believe it? We're back. Fire alarm. Ruffy, it just shows you how live this show is. Fire alarm, we've got to get out.
Yep, you've got to go to the assembly area and then put a smile on your face and just wait till the fire brigade comes.
Absolutely. Did you feel under any pressure because the whole building wanted to get their photograph taken with you and autographs as well?
Well, you've just got to put up with these things when you've been to World Cups. Yeah.
Brilliant. And you were just left alone then, Barry, nobody?
No, I was just the staff in here were left with me just talking to me, and Ruffy was away doing his usual. And
Billy, big time. Yeah.
But, well, listen, that's what happens when, as he says, he's played at World Cups.
I know, absolutely. I wish you'd been at a World Cup. Have you ever been to a World Cup?
Yeah, the one in Germany. I actually went over to watch Craig Moore play with Australia.
Right.
Went over and watched the group stages. That was great to go and watch it and see some fantastic players and teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get cut to the chase then. A couple of things before we finish, or there's another fire alarm, depending on which comes first. The bottom half of the Premier League in Scotland, there's a fair battle going on to try and avoid, obviously, the drop. Partick Thistle Hamilton, the match is huge. A lot of the Jags fans are hoping that maybe the team can put up a real battle and a fitting tribute to the late John Lambie.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll try their best, but I just think it's going to be difficult for Partick to avoid the playoff or being automatically relegated. I think Hamilton will go there and win the game. If Hamilton do go on, they'll know that if they beat Partick Thistle, they go 8 points clear of them. And I think if they do that, they'll be clear of relegation. Hamilton will do. So I think it's going to be a difficult day for Partick Thistle. I'm not too sure whether they're going to finish in the playoff or the automatic relegation spot. So it's a fight between them and Ross County, and that'll be an interesting one.
Ruffy, do you see your old side getting a win tomorrow?
Yeah, I think they will. Obviously, Hamilton and Thistle have no form whatsoever going into this. Both of them are on terrible runs. But Partick are at home against Hamilton. They're at home against Ross County. If they don't win these 2 games, then let's be serious, they don't deserve to be in the division. You know, it's been a terrible season. But I do think they'll come good. I think they've got players in there that can, on their day, win games, and particularly against the likes of Hamilton and Ross County. So, yeah, I'm going for a Thistle win.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. No surprise there, Ruffy. On previous PLZ soccer shows, if Partick Thistle were playing Real Madrid in the semi-finals of the Champions League, he'd predict the Jags to win it by 2-1. What about your old mucker? He's picking fights right, left and centre. Neil McCann said he won't be shaking hands with Tommy Wright. He's not going to make him welcome at Dens Park. He's setting it up for a battle royal against St Johnstone tomorrow.
I wish I was up watching that game. I'm not surprised. Listen, that's what type of character Neil is. Listen, I know what he's like. I played with him long enough to know that that's the way he was going to react or going to say. But I'm not surprised, and it adds a bit of excitement to the game as well. You know what I mean? It's a big game. It's a derby game as well, and I think Dundee will beat St Johnstone.
Yeah.
Pretty convincingly.
Ross County, Motherwell as well.
I'm going to go Ross County. Listen, I think Motherwell have done fantastically well this season, but I just think going up there at Ross County, the two boys that have come in, caretaker, have done a good job. They're on a decent wee spell just now, and I think Ross County will just win that.
Ross County and Dundee, do you agree?
The Ross County one, I think it's ideal for Ross County because I think Motherwell will start resting players for the final. They're not under any pressure whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see what Motherwell team go out there. And if it is weakened, I think Ross County will take something out of it. Dundee, yeah, I think Dundee, if they can come up with the goods, I think throughout the season they've proved that they can win games, but they never seem to turn up at the right time. I don't know what Neil McCann's problem is with Tommy Wright. It was the goalkeeper he was fighting with, not Tommy Wright.
Yeah, so Tommy Wright kind of stuck him in his comments, and in his mind, I'm not saying Tommy Wright stuck him in, but Neil McCann's perception is that Tommy Wright stuck him in to the SFA officials with comments that he made about the altercation.
Well, it was there for everyone to see, and he lifted his hands to the goalkeeper. I thought he was very fortunate in getting it reduced to one.
What's your problem with any manager fighting with it? What's your problem with Neil McCann? If he wants to leather him, he leathers him.
Yeah, well, I think he should have taken the 2 games, but obviously he's appealed against it. Obviously he's saying that he was probably...
Were you in the middle of it? He says he was provoked.
What I remember about it, he was walking off and he went to, I think it was a kit man first, and then he obviously bumped into the goalkeeper after that. For me, it was all Neil McCann for me, you know. Are you denying he lifted his hands to somebody?
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm going to say to you, we're not judge and jury in this. The whole thing is, he got a 2-match ban. He went to you appeal it. And he stood there in front of them himself and put his case across about the events of what happened. You know, just because you see someone lift your hands, you don't know what's being said in between. It's classic Ali McCoy, Neil Lennon at the trackside at Celtic. You don't know what Ali McCoy said. Well, I do, but... Ali McCoy says something to Neil Lennon, it all kicks off. That's what happens. You're not privy to all of it.
Yeah, you're in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know whether the substitute goalkeepers maybe said something to Neil and Neil's reacted, but he's not went up and tried to deck the guy around. It's just like a brush of the hand. But I'm not surprised what Neil says, it'll not be welcome. But that adds a wee bit of excitement to the game coming up.
Can you imagine Ruffy was on a panel when you were in the disciplinary? You'd be jailed.
No.
Anyway.
Just wait till a manager does hook a manager and then we'll see, what happens after that.
Oh, we've had that before. It's called the Scottish Football Writers. It's the PFA dinner and the Scottish Football Writers all in. No, that's not what I'm advocating. I'm just saying. No, but the point is you're giving it as if you were there, sitting in the middle of it, saying Neil McCann's guilty, and it doesn't matter what happened with the other guys. He's guilty, but he's not clearly.
Well, he was guilty.
Well, he's put his case forward that whatever he did, and he's held his hands up to it, it's a 1-match ban, and they've agreed with him on the evidence that he supplied. So clearly, he's been able to state his case very clearly and succinctly. Last point, I think we owe it to him. Arsene Wenger says he's going to chuck it in the summer, so they're looking for a new Arsenal manager. We've talked about Brendan Rodgers, but let's talk about Arsene Wenger. Down south, he could sign off with Arsenal winning the Europa League and they're back in the Champions League, and I think that would be the perfect way to say, have that, you lot who have absolutely nailed me week in, week out.
Yep, and I hope he does, because he's been a fantastic manager for Arsenal. And all the people who have criticised him over the last 3 or 4 years, let's see what they're saying a couple of years down the line when he does leave English football and he leaves Arsenal, because I think it'll be a sad loss. I'm just happy he's going to go out now, because he's been, the amount of stick the guy's received and what he's done in the game and what trophies he's won and what he's achieved has been unbelievable. And I didn't like, certainly over the last season or two, it's been pretty harsh towards him.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he goes out and he does win the Europa League.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Of course, Sir Alex Ferguson's paid him the ultimate tribute. He says he's one of the greatest Premier League managers, and that's a fitting tribute for two guys who used to be at loggerheads with each other.
No, I think he set the standard for all the other teams who were chasing the Man Uniteds and the Man Cities and the Chelseas. You know, we all remember the teams, the success that he had. And you're right, you know, if you're going out the game, you want to be remembered for the good things, not the bad things.
Okay, sorry about the fire alarm, but safety first. We had to drag Roffy out of here, make sure he was at the assembly point with the rest of our staff, and eventually, once he'd got over all the adulation that was coming his way and the signatures, we're back in here. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show and not been too interrupted by our interruption. Don't forget to download the app, PLZ Soccer app, on Google Play and also in the App Store, and you can get all the news on your laptop, www.plzsoccer.com. Every day we're giving you unique video content. You'll get the papers, you'll get Baz on a Wednesday and a Friday as well, so hopefully you've enjoyed our coverage. Ruffy's on his way now. He's been held here too long, as you can tell by his face. It's great to have Barry with us, because Ruffy and myself have not been two-faced about it. When he was in the middle of controversy and storm, we were absolutely hammering him. Get him out, sack him. He should be gone from the club. What a disgrace he is. And now time is a great healer, and Barry is here with us, Ruffy. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's really fair, but you know, you just have to get on with it, you know, work with the people that you're put up with. Just
for the benefit of anybody in another country from America who are wondering whether he comes with subtitles, I do not know what that last rambling was from.
Actually makes me sound unbelievable.
That's the best line you've had today. He makes this man look like Einstein. From Ruffy, from Barry, from myself, thanks for watching.